Welcome to Rhythm and Roads podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Jacob. We have a very special guest, my friend, saxophonist, recording artist, Jezzika Sax. Welcome, Jessica, back on the Rhythm and Roads.
Hello, happy to be here.
Yeah. And congrats on the top eight on your spot on the Mas Jingle Radio for the Baila
Thank you.
Conmigo.
Thank you so much.
As soon as I first time I heard it, yeah, I was like, okay, this is gonna be on repeat. So
That makes me feel really happy. That was the goal.
well, it
Definitely.
definitely, I think it's everyone's top playlist right now, so that's awesome.
That's
But yeah,
awesome.
congrats on the top eight.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And also the song is produced by Kris Domz, correct?
Right, that's
Oh,
correct.
all right. And too bad he couldn't join us. I know you had other plans, but next time.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a busy man.
Oh, I bet. I bet. All right, Jess. Well, I do want to get to know the story behind the song. So, how did
Okay.
you get the idea to write that song?
Well, it's been a 2 year process in the making. 2 years ago, I was starting to push my career a little bit more, trying to brand myself and
Okay.
expand everything I was doing. And Chris and I had already been friends on Facebook because I had met the Cumbia Kings when he was with them years ago, and we all kind of like connected at that time and just stayed connected over the years. And he was following my journey, and he was deciding to branching out on his own and creating his own production company
Right.
business.
Mm.
So he reached out to me and said, "Hey, would you be interested in collaborating and would help me build my brand and then I help you build yours?" And I was like, that's not a bad idea, especially because I know where Chris comes from. He's
Yeah.
spent years with the Quintanilla family and they wrote hit after hit
Wow.
with Selena. So
Oh, wow.
I
Really? Okay.
yeah, I was like, this is going to be a great experience.
Yeah.
So that's when we sealed the deal, and we started to plan how to come out with this song. And it took 2 years only because he and I are both really busy. I'm always playing every weekend and stuff, and he's in other groups too, and then he's got his own businesses running. So we finally got to work on it, and we're here now.
And you're here now. Wow. And
Yes.
2 years, right? All through the whole project. This,
2 years, yeah. Just it normally doesn't take that long, but we
right.
were just
You have so much
so
going on.
busy doing. But I believe that the timing is everything,
Right.
and when it does finally come through, it's because that's when it was supposed to come through. So
Exactly. Yeah. And I totally agree on that. And that's the thing. I was telling my friend of mine who's another musician. I said, one thing about great music is that you do want to take your time with it. I said, it's not just something to rush because you just want your fans to get something. It's like, wait, when I
right,
bring this out, I make sure it's to where it's perfected, where it's
right.
the time where we go over it, make sure everything's great. And look, yeah, after 2 years, the song is really good. So,
Thank
I
you.
mean, to the point you're like, damn.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, that's really cool. I mean, that's an awesome journey of just knowing that during those 2 years, as you both are going through your own, entrepreneurship, doing what you do, and what he was doing, you always had a project in the works during those 2 years to always look
Right.
forward to. That's
Yes.
cool. I like that. All right.
Yes.
So where did you record the song at? Was it Sonic Ranch, his own studio, or?
We actually met in San Antonio.
Oh, you did. Okay.
We went to a studio in Kyle, Texas,
Oh,
with another musician, and he's also a producer. He has a studio, Fabian. He has a studio in Kyle, Texas,
okay.
and it was very convenient for us to go there. Nice studio. We recorded the song and filmed the video in one night.
In one night.
In one night. Yes. So
That's
Chris literally picked my boyfriend and I up from the hotel
okay.
that day at like around 3 o'clock. We drove to Kyle, Texas, which was another hour and a half away.
Okay.
Recorded all night for about 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours, and then we headed to the other studio to shoot the video.
You must have been on a lot of energy drinks to get through the whole night on that.
For me, I think it was the adrenaline, just the
Yeah,
excitement that it's finally happening, and we were just in work mode. We were just ready to go.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. So much fun. And what made you guys do it all in just in one night? Is it just because there was a lot of time consuming on that?
Well, because Chris is in the Corpus Christi area and I'm in El Paso. So we're quite a
Oh,
distance,
okay.
and we wanted to make sure we get everything done
As
as,
possible.
take advantage of the time that we had while we were there. And so we were able to get all that, booked in the one day, and we just said, let's do it.
Wow, that's cool. And
Yeah.
so, now with this being done, where are you at right now with the single? Is it to the charts of possibly getting you guys on shows in the future outside of El Paso, or is this leading to a future album? I mean, what's the works now with that?
Well, a little bit of both. We do want to perform it, and the song is gaining traction on its own. It's really speaking for
Yeah.
itself, which is exciting because, my vision was to um, create a new sound that embraces the energy of Selena's music and Fito Olivares, who is also he passed away, unfortunately, not too long ago, but
Mm.
he was like the ultimate sax player in the cumbia and tejano scene. And so their songs have this kind of energy that when you hear them, you just want to dance. Like everybody floods the dance floor. And I felt like I hadn't heard anything like that. Like in order to get that same reaction, you would
Mhm.
need to play either of their songs.
Mm.
So, Chris and I were like, we need to come up with something that kind of has that same vibe. And that's what this song is, that's the goal of this song. And it feels like it's doing that.
Yeah.
And so we want to continue that trend. And of course, perform it live at hopefully soon. And then we are working on another song to hopefully get out pretty quickly.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yes.
And real quick before we go into that part, I do want to say that song does have a catch of a feeling of Selena a bit, which I could relate to. I was like, this is really cool because it does have that feel. And I think that's
Yes.
why a lot of your fans and just people love it in general because it does bring back good memories of that Selena style, but it's yours, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's awesome. You guys made it your own. So
Thank
about this song that you're talking about in the future in the works, is
you.
it is it like bringing up to like an EP maybe in the future? A couple of more songs to add down the road?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
cool.
Hopefully so. We'll get a few more songs out there and then make it a full album or an EP. Yeah.
Now or EP to start with. Cool. And you
Yes.
want to talk a little bit about this second song, or you can't really share much on that?
Sure. No, we can talk
Yeah.
about it.
Okay. So what is the song pertaining to? Is it very similar to the style that we already have, or is it more of a slower song? Like what's the feel on that?
We are gonna continue with the same energy.
Oh,
I
you
won't
are?
give too
Okay.
much detail. And you'll definitely want to move to it for
Oh,
sure.
all right.
Uh, and lyrically, well, I'll leave that a mystery. Yeah.
Fine, yeah. Cool. All right. So when is your next show that you're going to be performing with this song? Because I know lately what you've been doing is performing throughout El Paso, and I bet this is one of the top songs that everyone is waiting for you to play. Is it where are you going to play it next? Is it next?
Well, my next event is at the Dome Bar,
Oh, it is
and
at
the
the Del
Dome
Mar.
is yes at the Hotel Paso del Norte,
Right.
and it's of course the vibe there. It's pretty chill, very
Yes.
classy.
Yeah.
But you never know. You never know if the people want to hear it. I'm happy to play it.
Cool. Now that place that we went to, or I went to on Friday, what was the name of that place again? The one
Papa
on
Doble.
there. Yes.
Yes,
Were you playing the song there? I wasn't. I didn't stay throughout the whole
I
night.
did. I ended up playing it later on in the evening.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Nice. I actually like that place a lot because it does have that jazz feel, and I know that you're
Yeah,
very big on that as well.
it is good, and I will be there again. Yeah, for
This
sure.
Friday?
No, this Friday I will be at Stoics for Valentine's Day.
Oh,
Stoics Lounge. That one's going to be great. They've got a good menu from what I saw. So if you're gonna go, make reservations soon.
Thanks for the heads up.
Yes.
Well, I really want to say that I'm really happy for you, Jess. I mean, I know you've come a long way. I know our first interview we've had, you shared your story, a very inspiring story. And I believe so much that, like you said, that times when you go through certain parts of life, this is the time where the doors are open now, and it's like
Right.
floodgates are opening up, endless possibilities. And I'm really happy for you. And I know your boyfriend is just such a great, I guess, inspiration to you and just a motivator and just so much like, hey, I got your back, girl. I'm here to help
Yes, he
you. And
is
yeah, that's
a
awesome.
go-getter, and he literally will go into a room and just talk about me to everybody, and I just like because I can be a little bit more shy on the shy side, but he really complements my personality and just gives me a confidence to really step up and not be and understand the difference between like being a showboater or just really promoting your passion
Right.
and being confident with what you do and what you want to bring to the table with how you're serving the world basically.
Right. Yeah. And the thing is, as you are doing that, you are bringing light to the world of something of knowing that there's those that want to become an artist, that want to write a song. And because of your inspiration, you are a light to those that are future artists, future creative, songwriters. And they're like, man, look
Right.
at that song that she did. I could do that too. And so that's why I
Yes.
have this podcast because it's people like you, Jess, that have gone through their journey, have gone through their struggles in the beginning, and then look where they're at. And it's not just something that was handed to them. It's because
Right.
they worked very hard to get where you're at. So,
Yes. Well, thank you for having this. It's great.
oh, no, yeah, no problem, man. It's not going to end anytime soon. I have more guests to bring.
I know, and you've got some
All the
really cool guests. That's awesome.
time.
Congrats to you too.
Well, thank you, thank you. One time, recently I had someone ask me, like, "Well, don't you have someone doing this for you?" I'm like, "No, it's just me. Like, I'm not. Well, what do you get out of it?" I'm like, one thing about me, Jess, is I asked myself that a few months ago. I said, well, what am I doing with this podcast? I'm like, am I really going to be doing this forever? Is it something where I should really invest in my time in? And
Right.
I had someone ask me, well, why do you do it? And I said, you know what? Every person, every guest that I've had since the beginning, I've been so inspired and it just does something to me where I just like, I learned something new. And I feel like that's why I do it because I'm giving them a platform to
Hmm.
give their voice to share, but it's also doing something for me where I'm learning something. And if a few people see the episode, if a lot of people see it, great. But at least I know that I gave that person a platform to share their story, and that's what matters. So,
Yes, exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. It worked. The energy's transferring both ways, which is
It is. I feel it. It's cool.
yeah.
Well, before we end the podcast, I do want to, I know you were at Sonic Ranch, which is one of my favorite studios to visit. And what was going on over there with that you were part of?
That was actually my first time, believe it or
Oh,
not,
was it?
at
Okay.
Sonic Ranch, but I was super excited and I couldn't avoid that opportunity. So I was reached out to by an artist by the name of John Elof.
Oh,
He
okay.
is from Sweden.
Oh, wow.
So Sonic Ranch had this really cool workshop last weekend, and it was featuring a world-known producer. He's also Grammy Award-winning sound engineer. His
Wow.
name is Thomas Juth,
Okay.
and Thomas Juth was leading the workshop. But they had producers from all over, like New Jersey, Washington D.C., Silver City. There was another gentleman from El Paso as also, and they're all learning how to be sound engineers, producers, mixing, and mastering songs. The art of that,
Right.
which, as we all know, there's so many more musicians these days that are doing all of that themselves as independent
That's true.
artists
There is. Yeah.
rather than reaching out to a label and having them do it.
Right.
So it was interesting. And John Elof actually was cool. I found out how he found me. He said he needed a saxophone player for his song. They were going to record his track there. And he Googled saxophone players in El Paso and saw me on there and he liked my vibe, so he reached out to me
Oh,
and he just told me, he's like, we in exchange for doing this for me, he's like, you can come and experience Sonic Ranch and listen into the workshops and participate with us. And I thought that's a great opportunity, great learning experience. So I spent the day out there on Saturday.
that's so cool. And I'm so happy for you that you got to do that. And what did you think of Sonic Ranch? It's beautiful, right?
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. Even I didn't get to see them, and I regret not going to go hunt them down. But Cody Jinks, country artist,
Oh,
and
yeah.
his band were there recording in another
Right.
studio.
Okay.
But as you know, there's studios like spread out
Yeah,
on the
spread out.
property.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure where to go. But he was there recording, another band was there recording,
Oh,
and
cool. Okay.
it's just really neat. It's all music. It's great.
Yeah. All music. Did you by any chance meet Tony?
The owner?
Yeah, the owner.
I believe so. Yeah, I went to the kitchen to get a coffee, and he made me a cafe macchiato on his
Wow.
really cool, fancy coffee machine.
Yeah. I
So
love
that
it.
was, yeah, it was awesome.
Tony's such a great guy, and he's just so down to earth. I remember he's
Yeah,
all like, "You want some pecans?" I just grabbed some. I was like, "Sure, man." He's like giving them. So I'm like, "Cool."
yeah.
Glad you
He
got some.
looks like he enjoys. He has a fun time on that ranch.
Yeah, and that ranch has been around for a long time. I mean, times my
Yeah.
friend, he's a recording artist, but also a producer as well. But he's very good friends with Tony. So one time I went and brought him up, and he was like, "Oh, Charlie, oh man, we go way back to like the '80s," and I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay." But yeah,
That's fun.
it was such a good time with them.
Oh
Well,
yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Well, thank you, Jess, for coming on the podcast. I know you have a lot going on. Yeah, a lot of going on with your schedule. So really appreciate you. Before we go, can you just give I guess, links to where we can find your music, your website? I know you have your merchandise going on as well.
I do, and I'm really trying to push that
Oh, your
as
website? Yeah. All right.
I am because only because the money that I'm getting from the merchandise is going towards the music.
Okay.
Um, and it helps me continue with the tracks and music videos and all that. So, anyone that wants to do that can go to my website. It's jessicasax.com.
Okay.
And my store is on there. I also have my full calendar for the whole month for all my events, and they're on there. I'll be in Taos, New Mexico on the 21st and 22nd
Okay.
at two venues out there. So for anybody in the Santa Fe, Taos area, I'll be there.
All right. And then your music is all streaming platforms, the new song
All
by
streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, even Pandora found it on their YouTube. The music video is on YouTube.
the Baila Conmigo, right?
Baila Conmigo,
All
yes.
right. Sounds good. Well, I appreciate you, Jessica Sax, for coming on Rhythm and Roads podcast. I look forward to seeing you at your next show. And thank you again for sharing just a brief story on your new single. Thank you so
My
much.
pleasure. Thank you, Josh, so much.
Thank you, guys.